Hello guys, welcome back. Well, today we're gonna be making this manipulation Mother of Dragons, and let's begin. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is open the background as always, and once I have my background, I'm going to use the crop tool to crop the image. So I'm just gonna go right here on top where it says, where it has the size of the cropping thingy, and I'm gonna select original ratio, and I'm going to grab the bottom left, and I'm just going to put it right here. Then I'm going to get the other side, and I'm just going to put it right there, and I'm going to move this just a little, like something like that, and I'm gonna click enter or OK. So next I'm going to lower the resolution. You don't need to do this. I'm going to do it because my computer is slowed down when I'm recording and making some tutorials and designs and all that. So I'm just gonna lower the resolution to 72, and the width I'm going to put it as 1000, and I'm gonna click OK. So that's gonna be the background and the size, and I'm going to duplicate this background by pressing Ctrl J. Next I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to blur the image or the background by 1.5 pixels. I'm gonna click OK. So now I'm going to add some hue and saturation, and I'm gonna desaturate the image by 25, minus 25. I'm going to click OK, or just this arrow. Next I'm going to bring the woman. I'm going to click on this little icon on top to keep the aspect ratio. You can click on this one, or you can press the shift key and resizing. Right there, and click OK. So now I'm going to add a photo filter adjustment, and I'm gonna use the cooling filter 80, and the percent is gonna be 25. So next I'm going to bring the egg image, but first I'm going to drag this on top to open in a new tab window. I'm going to press Ctrl key and click on the thumbnail to select the egg, and I'm going to go to filter, to select, modify, and contract. I'm going to contract the image by 4 pixels. Click OK. Now I'm going to press Ctrl J to duplicate the contracted image. So I'm going to get a move tool, and I'm going to move this to our image. I'm going to press Ctrl T to transform, and I'm going to make this to 10 pixels, 10% and I'm going to make this egg small. Something like this. Click OK. So now I'm going to add a brightness and contrast. And on brightness I'm going to put -25. Don't forget to put this as a clipping mask by clicking on this little icon or by pressing Alt and clicking between those two layers. And on contrast I'm going to put 19, and I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to add some vibrance, put it as a clipping mask, and I'm going to put this -100. So next I'm going to go to the egg layer and I'm going to add a layer mask. I'm going to lower the opacity of that layer to around 40 pixels, 40%, to be able to see the fingers. Next I'm going to get the brush tool with a soft brush and I'm going to delete the area of the egg that is outside of the hand. And once we have that, we're going to make a new layer on top and we're going to name this shadow. You don't have to name it, so don't worry about that. Get the brush tool with black color and we're going to make some shadows on the egg, like the shadows of the fingers. But we're going to press Ctrl and click on the egg thumbnail, then press Ctrl Alt and click on the layer mask thumbnail, and then Ctrl Shift and I to invert the selection. So once we have all that, we're gonna be able to paint on the egg but not the fingers. Like, this is what I mean. You see, I'm pressing the key and painting and I'm not painting, but if I go outside of the fingers I'm gonna paint on the egg. So that's what I meant by that. So now we're going to lower the opacity of the brush by 50% and we're just gonna paint some shadows. Once you're done with that, Ctrl D to deselect, and we're going to blur that with 2 or 1 pixels. Let's blur it with 1 pixel. So next, click on the layer, egg layer, select the burn tool, midtones and around 60%, and we're going to darken some areas. So yeah, just let's go dark to so just let's darken these areas. Now let's go with the woman. Let's rasterize the layer by right clicking it and rasterize layer, and we're gonna burn the fingers a little bit. So we can make it darker and it could match the shadows. I'm going to go to the shadow layer, and I think I'm going to lower the opacity by 80%, and I think that looks good. So now we're gonna add a new layer below the woman. So click on the layer below the woman and click on add new layer. Next we're gonna add some clouds. Go to filter, render, clouds, and blend mode to soft light, and the opacity around 50 or 75. I think 75 is gonna look good. So next let's make a new layer on top. Select the gradient tool, black to transparent, and the linear gradient. We're gonna paint from right to left. Change the blend mode to soft light and the opacity around 50%. So next we're gonna add some selective color. We're gonna select the reds and we're gonna put on cyan 100, magenta 20, and that's gonna be all. So now we're going to add some dragons. Let's add this one. Click OK. And we're going to put that dragon below the cloud layer. Next, let's bring the other dragon. And click OK. So now we're going to rasterize these two dragons. So right click it and rasterize layer. Then we're gonna get the burn tool and we're just gonna darken the dragon just real quick. Just like that, real quick. And go to the next one and do the same. Just like that. Then we're gonna select these two by pressing Ctrl and click on the other one, and we're gonna group them, Ctrl G, and we're going to convert these as a smart object. Right click and convert to a smart object. Then we're going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we're going to blur the dragons by 1 pixel. Click OK. Now let's go on top and we're going to add a gradient map. We're going to select this one right here, violet to orange, blend mode to soft light, and the opacity around 20. Next, I'm going to convert the woman to a smart object, and I'm going to blur the woman by 1.5 pixels. Click OK. Then I'm going to go to the smart object layer mask, and I'm going to fill that with black. Then I'm going to select the brush tool my foreground color white, and I'm going to brush on this lower area to bring that blur back. Don't forget to put the opacity to 100 and bring that blur back to the image, just like that. So next, let's go on top, make a new layer, and we're gonna use the brush, lower the opacity to around 50, and we're gonna paint some black on here, just like we're gonna simulate like if there were some clouds. Just paint like this real quick. Change the blend mode to soft light, and you can lower the opacity to your choice. I'm going to go to 50%. Yeah, 50%. Next, I'm going to make an stamp. Control Alt Shift and E. I'm going to go to Filter, Lens Correction, and Custom, and I'm going to put -100 on vignette, or whatever you pronounce that, and click OK. And we're gonna have this kind of vignette on the image. Next, make a new layer, paint it with red. This red right here is gonna be RGB red, and change the blend mode to soft light and the opacity around 40%. Next, I'm going to add a touch and burn layer. I already have the action, you should already have it. If you don't, look at my videos and look for touch and burn action. Then I'm going to get the dash tool, range highlight, exposure 19%, and I'm going to make this real quick. So once you're done with the woman, make the exposure percent to 100, and we're gonna go with the egg. So just make the brush a little bigger and just paint like that to make the egg a little brighter. Something like this. Once you have this, we're gonna make another stamp. Control Alt Shift and E. So we're gonna go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharpen Mask, and we're going to put 85, 1 and 4. Click OK, and there you go. This is gonna be your end result. I hope you like this tutorial. Comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and see you next time. Bye bye.